All right, we have who is this? Make sure that your names tell me who you are. I don't know who Zin is. And if you're not going to show your face, I got to make sure I know who you are.
I'm Hussein.
Hi, Morgan.
Oh, my nickname at home is my thing. So
Hi, Grace.
Good morning.
I look like a mess. I haven't taken a shower yet. My hair is so messy.
My hair is so dirty right now. I threw it up in the morning today.
Yeah, mine is always crazy. I look like I got an 80s style.
Yeah, my hair is like almost as long as my arm.
Oh,
wow.
So wait, who is Zin? Z-I-N.
It's Hussein.
Who?
Hussein.
Oh, hi. How are you, kiddo?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. We put in some extra credit for you guys. So we have.
I would still attend either way, extra credit or not.
I love that mentality.
Love to know that my presence matters to
Well, it
everyone.
gets me up before 10:30, so. Because my mom's like, you need to get up by 9. Okay, now she just lets me get up whenever I want to, unless it's 12. Then she's like, okay, get up.
I have to wake up by like 8:30 every day so I could just get my medication and get going on the buckle down right there.
Yeah, I don't have to take my medication at a certain time. I have to take it like right when I wake up.
Hi, JD.
But I have to like space it out.
Morning, JD. Oh, there you are there, JD, aren't you?
Yes.
Good morning. Don't you miss
Does
me?
it say Julie?
Yeah, it said
Yes, it's Julie.
I'm trying to figure out how to change my name.
I can change it.
I think you can install the app and change your name that way.
I got it.
Yeah, I'm on the app right now.
I got it, JD. Done.
There we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have those capabilities. Okay, what you guys need, we're gonna wait a few minutes here to make sure everyone has some time to log on. You need your paragraphs from last week.
All right.
If you guys have it in your notebook, or it's typed, have that pulled up for me.
I think I deleted mine, so I have to go on Schoology.
Oh no.
I have a limited space on my laptop, and I have to delete things sometimes as soon as.
You can pull it up on, if you don't need it right now, Morgan, but you will need it for this week's assignment.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Not a big deal.
How's everybody doing for quarantine?
Get me out, please.
Right? I feel like we went to my dad's house on Saturday to celebrate Mother's Day, like with my stepmom. So, and we were kind of like all together. So it was kind of, it felt nice. It felt normal, I guess, a little bit. For the
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it was good. What did you guys do for your moms for Mother's Day?
We got her pecanos. She loves it there.
What'd you do, Morgan?
Oh, sorry, I didn't interrupt you, Grace. We got her pecanos. I think it's on Rochester Road. It's a family-owned Italian restaurant.
Yeah, I think your brother told me that on Thursday or Friday during our Zoom chat that you guys were thinking about that. Grace,
Yeah.
what did you do for your mom?
I actually made her a card this year, and there's usually I made her like a flap on so like on Amazon she can get more of her podcasts and her books that she usually reads.
I love it.
Yeah, she usually she would give me recommendations too based on her Kindle. She has like top recommendations.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to look at those a little bit, top 25 list. Maybe I would still like continue doing that. I already have one in my notebook already. So like for next year, like maybe I can like preview those again and see how my thoughts were on those. Because thoughts change throughout each year. There's different motives in each book you told me about. Like there's different lessons to learn.
Awesome. I love it. Who's next on here? Hussein, what'd you do for your mom? No. JD, what'd you do for your mom?
Oh, we just watch TV.
That's
About
okay.
it. We got pizza.
Good. All right. Where'd you order pizza from?
We had Little Caesars.
The nice hot and ready. Did you get bread?
Yes, we did. Lots of it.
Good. That's my favorite. I used to be able to crush a whole order of bread by myself. Serious. I could eat a whole, like that bag of bread is delicious.
Me and my mom would always like eat it in the car on the way home because it's like hot and ready. It's warm.
It's hot and ready. Yeah. Hi, Reagan.
He's muted. Hey, Grace, you know Animal Crossing?
Yeah, I know.
I made this
everybody.
I made this little clay figure of Marshall. Isn't he cute?
Aw, that's adorable.
Hi,
And I
Reagan.
made a peach tree, but I'm trying to touch up all of the stuff I did. My mom's like posting on Facebook. I'm like, wait till it's done. She won't listen to me. I showed it to Jail and she really likes it because Marshall's her favorite too.
Oh, here's Samana.
Yeah, I think your internet just keeps going out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll start here. And then obviously I'm recording this, so if anyone misses anything, they can catch it on the replay. But the 6 of you all just earned yourself 10 free points of extra credit.
That's all I was really here for.
That's okay.
Oh,
I like that. That's all right, JD. Okay. So let me do a share screen here so we can. Okay. So for week 8, for this week, you guys are essentially just revising and editing your paragraphs from last week. Okay. But I thought it'd be easier to kind of go over it live with you guys than it would be just to do a screencast and give you guys some opportunities just to interact with each other. I'd like to see some of your faces. So, all right, what we're going to do today is we're going to look at what I consider good writing for this rhetorical analysis style of writing that you guys completed last week for Obama's Yes We Can speech. You guys are going to revise and edit your own paragraphs, and then you'll type and kind of submit your final polished ones, okay? So last week I gave you guys this structure where you guys were to begin your paragraphs with your précis and then your claim, okay? A lot of you need to take a look at your first 2 sentences of your paragraphs and make sure that they're just 2 sentences. Some of you are still putting more sentences in there that's necessary. Your précis is 1, your claim is 1, okay? So make sure you're following this formula. It's not cheating, it's not copying. I'm giving it to you, use it, okay? So your first sentence should be your précis, which talks about kind of what type of speech your speaker was giving, what was the purpose, what was their argument. Then in your claim, that's where you specifically tell me what rhetorical device you're going to focus on in your paragraph, okay? Then you guys go into your body paragraph where you are explaining how Obama's use of that rhetorical device, right, where that rhetorical strategy was effective in proving his argument. Only a handful of you, like you summarize the speech for me, and it's not a summary of what the speech is about. That's not the point of this, right? You're analyzing the rhetoric that's being used in that speech. So make sure that when you read yours, that you're focusing on maybe Obama's use of repetition or personal anecdotes or his use of rhetorical questions, that you're focusing on a rhetorical device and not what he's saying. Does that make sense? I'm going to need some head nods, some verbal yes. That makes sense. Okay.
I muted myself, yes.
Okay.
yes, we're paying attention here.
Okay. So This was a paragraph that I thought the student did very well in writing. Okay. So if you take a look at this, their praeses and their claim follows my structure. It used the formula that was given to them. So it says, in this inspirational speech, okay, Barack Obama benevolently speaks about his experiences in the world and how unity is the foundation of America, in order to give hope to his audience about times to come while under his presidency. So right off the bat in the praeses, right, we have what type of speech, we have kind of the tone and like the feeling towards Barack Obama, right, about the subject, kind of what his message is and what is his purpose. That's all in the praeses right there, one sentence. Okay. Then it shifts into his claim here, where it says Barack Obama mainly uses juxtaposition to strengthen his argument. So this writer told me they're going to look at and analyze, right, Barack Obama's use of juxtaposition in this speech. Okay. Then the rest of it, this body paragraph, he goes on to, he gives one good example of it. Okay. He actually has two examples, or I think 2 or 3 examples. Okay. And he transitions nicely into that, where I think, and they focused on, you know, how Obama is using those. Where I think they could have strengthened is to expand on their analysis. Okay. In terms of why was that device effective? And then they had a good conclusion. Okay. So this is a paragraph that if you guys need to come back to this one and look at, in terms of some of the things that this writer did well when you're revising your own, this would be one that I would come back to look at. So another good writing where it was a good starting point, there's definitely some revisions, was this student. So first of all, we're going to start right away by looking at the praeses and the claim. And it says, in this emotional speech, Barack Obama uses appeal to pathos to get his voters to want a united America in order to win the Democratic vote. Okay. That, the use of appeals, that should exist in your claim. Okay. So this student does not have a claim. So in order to revise it, I would say, in this emotional speech, Barack Obama emotionally appeals to the American voters that we want a united America in order to win the Democratic vote. He effectively delivers this message by using this word emotional appeal through the use of, and then this writer should have put in a specific device. How did he appeal to emotions, right? You need to be able to tell me specifically what he did. Was it through the use of personal anecdotes? Was it through his word choice? Okay. So this student needed to tell me that. Then he goes on, and this student, or he or she, I forget whose this was. It gives an example here. In the blue states, people coach little league teams. In the red state, and in the red states, we have gay friends. So direct quote, cited it correctly. He uses terms like blue and red states to talk about the division of the, you know, Democratic and Republican states. So to me, it seems like the student wants to focus on word choice, which is perfectly acceptable for Obama. I think he was very selective in what words he chose. But then he should have given me another example. Instead, the student transitions into giving me a summary of Obama's speech, instead of saying focused on the rhetorical device. Okay. So, and then there's also no clear conclusion. There's no transition and shift into a concluding thought there. So that's where this writer needs to kind of lean in and improve this writing for this week's assignment. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at 2 paragraphs now. And I want you guys on a sheet of paper, if you have it in front of you, or your phone, if you need to jot some notes down, I want you to tell me how this writer could improve this paragraph in like 3 or more areas. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys like, I don't know, let's say like 4 minutes. Take a look at this paragraph. Where are some specific spots where this student could strengthen and improve their writing? Jot them down, and then we'll kind of go through them together. You guys need another minute, or
I've got my stuff.
No.
I do too.
Yeah.
you got some? Tamana, you got some?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Mhm.
What we're gonna do is, bear with me here. I'm gonna try to write right on this screen. It went decently well during first hour, so we'll we'll try it again.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
It's just kind of a hot mess. Let's second hour revisions. Doing the best I can, okay? Teaching.
It's a
Yeah.
challenge for everyone. Yeah.
Sorry, no.
Not the best, but it works. Okay. So, just someone can start and kind of just talk me through ways that we could revise.
Okay, I have one.
Sure, Morgan.
So I noticed the person who wrote this used he a lot. Like I noticed at the first part, it was kind of like, oh, that's a lot of he's. And I started reading it and I'm like, oh, that's a lot. I think they can probably change it to use Obama or not have to constantly state who's saying it because you know it's about Obama.
Okay. Be careful with pronoun usage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's definitely one if we're looking at like just basic, grammatical stuff. That's definitely one you can consider.
Mm-hmm.
I found that, like, in conclusion, I think this is kind of like I think this is like not exactly the best way to start off with in conclusion here.
Yep. So I think there's two things we can say about this. So I think the first thing is try to avoid using in conclusion and just shifting in there. There's definitely nothing wrong with it.
There's just like a better way to.
Yeah, and if you
That's
want
a
to
better way.
advance your writing and try to avoid saying in conclusion, absolutely. I think the other thing to mention here, Grace, is the use of I think, right? That there should be no I statements.
Right.
Let's say try advancing your writing and so when you're doing like an academic kind of formal writing, there is no I statements, meaning I think this, I think that, because the whole thing is what you think. I should move this to the bottom here. So the whole piece is your writing. The whole piece is what you think. Okay. What about the précis and the claim?
I think for the
You guys both focused on academic
okay.
stuff, like our like grammatical stuff. I want to actually look at kind of the analysis side of it, like what these paragraphs need to include.
All I wrote was grammatical stuff.
All right, so take a minute and look at the précis and the claim. In this strong and personal speech, Barack Obama attempts to reach his voters and the press on a personal level to persuade them that he is the most fit for office and that he will cause change all over the U.S. in a good way. Is there a claim?
I don't think so. No,
There is no claim.
it's just kind of like he's doing this.
Yeah. So there's no claim. There's no specific, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like you can get lost in that in some way.
It's a précis. Like it's a fine précis. That is a perfectly fine précis for this writing. But there is no clear and explicit claim, right? Right, establishing what rhetorical device is going to be analyzed. So it doesn't tell me anywhere. So it says it's going to persuade them on a personal level. So you kind of get the idea that they're going to focus on his use of pathos, but there's no, what rhetorical device are they going to focus on? Like, what device did Obama use, right, in order to appeal to that emotional side of things? So, and that has to be very clear in this style of writing. So put that there. Okay. So no clear claim. All right. And then it goes on to say in the speech, he talks about people from all different backgrounds and ethnicities coming together to make change and push America in a new fundamental direction. Blah, blah, blah. It goes on for the next 2 sentences. Does it ever talk about any of the rhetorical devices?
I think this is just more of like a summary for him. Just
Exactly.
summarizing.
Exactly, Grace. So that's what we're going to say here, is that this is an entire writer. Let me actually pull this so you guys can see this. The writer focuses on a summary instead of on the devices.
Yes, like, because he wanted you to do great things. He basically said that throughout the entire speech. That's like no specific point.
That's not really like
But that's not the
on
prompt.
the
Right? It's
text.
the rhetorical analysis piece of writing. So it's telling you right in the title of this type of writing, right, that you're analyzing the rhetoric. Good. Okay. So this writer needs to kind of go back through and decide, okay, what device are they going to focus on? What examples, pull examples from the speech, and then actually analyze them. Okay. Good. All right. Next one. This is the last one you guys we're gonna do, and then I'll explain your assignments, and then you guys will be good. So in the next one, I want to hear from JD. I want to hear from Timana and Pranav. So list out how you think this writer could improve their writing. Take a few minutes. I'm going to give you guys like 3 minutes to look through this paragraph, and then we'll talk together.
I think that's Reagan's mom.
Um, know.
Okay. All right. How would you guys improve this? Tamana, JD, or Pranav?
Yeah, I think when I read any of the quotes that he took from the speech didn't have any citation.
Okay. So there's no citation. Let's actually, hold on. Let me do this really quick. So I have some room to type here. Okay, so so no citations when they give the quotes. Okay. So for this, because you're only talking about one speech, and the fact that they already mentioned the title of it, citations sometimes become not as important in this style of writing because they know what speech you're talking about.
Okay.
But all you would put in parentheses is Obama because they're the person giving the speech. That's kind of just a weird loophole with this type of writing. All right, how else would we improve this? Really looking at kind of what's required for rhetorical analysis writing. Looking at the précis, looking at the claim, looking at the analysis, how could we improve this? JD, you got away?
I feel like the first sentence doesn't really need to be there, or they could make it better and longer.
Yep. So I'm actually gonna highlight this whole first part. Because the précis and the claim, JD, you're right, definitely needs to be strengthened up here. And they need to focus on kind of following that formula, right, that I gave you guys. So, I think the writer could combine sentence 1 and 2, right? To form a correct précis. Because it says the Yes We Can speech from Barack Obama occurred in 2004. Its purpose was for Obama to become a Democratic Party's nominee, and he talked about issues facing the U.S. and the world in front of his supporters. So if they combine those together and kind of reworked it a bit, that could be their précis. I want you guys to look at the next two sentences. How could you strengthen that to be an actual claim?
Wait, the next two sentences after the red box?
Nope, the next two sentences just in the paragraph where it says the speech contains many returns.
Oh, okay.
How could we fix that in order to be an actual claim?
I don't think it's really necessary to say there are 3 rhetorical appeals and pathos is one of those appeals. They could just say like they are using the emotional appeal like for like what way for elaborating their main focus.
Correct. I think you need, this writer needs to remove that. We don't need a definition. This is not right. You don't need to tell me the definition of those appeals. So we could say, in order for Obama to be effective in his, I think the writer focuses on the emotional appeal.
Yeah, pathos.
Or to be effective in his emotional appeal to the audience, he utilizes, and then Grace, what you said was correct, that they need to tell me how did he utilize, right, that emotional appeal. And if you read through it, they talked about his use of rhetorical questions and repetition. They need to be specific in that, okay? Then they go on here and they do have good examples, but where their examples kind of fall short is making sure that they drive home and they really, really focus on, in terms of the analysis, why that rhetorical question, why that use of repetition is an emotional appeal. So let me write that down here. Take a look at the conclusion for me while I'm writing this out. Do you think the conclusion's good? Do you think there's a good transition there? Does it need to be improved?
Mm. I think with the bond between the supporters.
Morgan, wait 1 sec. I'm typing this
Oh,
up.
okay.
Just give me a
Oh,
second.
sorry.
Okay. Now we can look at the conclusion here.
You're gonna continue what I was saying?
Can you start over? I was in the middle of typing.
Yeah, sure. I don't think it's a bad transition. It's the bond between Obama's supporters, and it talks directly about pathos. I think they can make the transition a little bit smoother. I think they can probably get rid of the or something like that.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing to focus on for this is not to say the appeal to pathos. Remember,
Yeah.
something we talked about back in week 1 is that instead of saying appeals to pathos, you need to make sure that you are establishing yourself as a writer and that you know what that means. That you should say an emotional appeal.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about this paragraph? So there's good stuff here in all of them. It's just making sure that we're focusing on what exactly, right, this type of writing calls for. Okay. So your assignment, your first assignment this week is to now revise and edit your own writing. So to go through this process, right, of how we marked it up on your own. So I want you guys to indicate and edit and mark on your own, right, using highlighting or color coordinating or bolding or underlining where the changes need to be made. What are those changes you're going to make? Making sure that you're showing me your revisions, okay? So whether you wrote it in your paragraph or you typed it, making sure that you mark it in some way what your revisions are going to be. And then you're going to submit me a picture or a file that shows me your revisions. Okay, so that's your lesson 1 assignment. Your lesson 2 assignment is to now take those revisions and edits and apply them to your paragraph. And then you're going to finally submit your polished kind of typed paragraph to me on Schoology. So that's it for this week. Okay, so some of you might be able to, I don't know if you have another Zoom call after this for 3rd hour. You guys could do this right now. It is this fresh in your mind. you've heard me walk through, 4 paragraphs now. Revise and edit yours, type it, and then you're done for the entire week. For your assignments. Okay. And then that wraps up this week. Next week, we're going to be moving on with our kind of final week in the rhetoric writing, in that you'll have 5 speeches to pick from. You'll submit 1 final soapstone, rhetorical analysis chart, and then you'll write your paragraph. And then that's it for next week's assignments. And then we'll move on to our last 2 weeks together. In this, you are going to work on like a creative kind of little project for 2 weeks, and that's it. Do you guys have any questions about anything I went over today?
Nope.
I have one though. It's just for the second assignment, we take the stuff from the first and we like polish it all up, right?
Yeah, you're gonna then actually make those edits and revisions.
Okay.
Right.
Like, I just want to make that clear.
Yep. Any other questions?
Nope. All good.
No, thanks.
All right. And you guys are all set. You guys have a great rest of your day. Let me know if you guys have questions. I have office hours today from 1 to 2 for 10th grade. So if you guys have any specific questions on your paragraphs, that would be a good time to hop on. We can share a screen. I can help you through anything. But other than that, that is it for this week.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you guys later.
All right, awesome. Thank
Bye.
you.
All right, bye guys.
Bye, Miss Alec.
Bye.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.